we are going to continue the session of correlation coefficient in this video, and we'll use JASP. So it is advisable to you also open your JASP and keep practicing whatever actions I'm doing in your software on your end also, so you have better hands-on experience, and you also get the confidence in yourself that yes, you can do that. So let's continue with JASP. So we have seen the correlation definition and the various values of or cases of the values of coefficient. So we'll continue with using JASP. So we in the previous video we went for data library and used uh, from the regression category, used a sample of college success for our practice. So let's continue with that. I have the data set over here directly imported from the data library of JASP, and we can go to regression and open correlation. So we have all the data columns over here, and the scales are also indicated. So it is a scale, ordinal or nominal variable. And over here we can directly double click on GPA and GPA will come up on the variable, or we can drag ID and put it under the variables, or we can just click this arrow. So there are three different ways we can take the variables into account, or we can put some condition that I want to split the data, or put some conditions on the variables based on some different variables. So as I put over here all the variables which I want to check the relationship, a table or a matrix has been generated on my results window, and there are Pearson correlation. So by default it takes Pearson into account, and alternative hypothesis. So the correlation theory is also like we can match it with hypothesis or alternative hypothesis. Just we are going to check that if so null hypothesis or alternate hypothesis should be defined. So we can define alternate hypothesis as a thing like the two data sets are correlated, are not correlated, or are positively correlated. So generally the alternate hypothesis is taking or assuming that we are having a correlation. So the three options are listed down over here for us, and we have some different additional options and assumption checks. So the assumption checks are mostly for Pearson R value, because the data set of Pearson R assumes, or when we are going to make some uh, conclusion based on Pearson R values, it is assumed that my data is having a normal distribution. So we can check that. I have explained the use of QQ plot in descriptive statistics session, which can be used to ensure that my data set is following normality, or to which extent it is following normality. So we'll not go into assumption checks in this session. So I have put down the variables over here. So they are listed down the three variables: GPA, ID, and HSM. The Pearson R value, obviously GP and GPA cannot be related, or we should not define. They are obviously related, exactly perfectly related by a R value of 1. So that is trivial thing. Then we have ID related to GPA, and we have ID related to HSM over here, and HSM related to GPA. So the Pearson R value I have defined earlier. The other two coefficients are for the data set which will not take the normality into assumption. So we'll not go into more details of those, but just an information that the other two correlation coefficient are for the data sets which will not have normality already incorporated in the data points. So coming to over here, the Pearson R values are listed over here in the table, and the p value. So p value is an indication of how much significance we can give, or how much good or bad that estimation of R value is. So a value of p which is very less than or lesser than 0.001, that means that my Pearson R value has a very strong confirmation. So it's very positive, or we can say it is a good approximation. Or if my p value is not so large, that means that my R value is not very reliable. So that are that is the basic value or understanding of p value. Then we can display. So we have reported the significance. Then we can flag the significant correlation. So they have grouped the three p values with different marks. So 1 star over here indicates p is less than 0.05. 2 stars or 2 asterisks are not there, and 3 asterisks means my p value is 0.001. That means I am having a very good confidence with my r value. Then we can also show or indicate the confidence intervals. So that will give the interval in which my r value should be for 95% confidence. So if we increase the confidence interval, that means that I want a more confidence of whatever r value I have estimated. So if I have 100% confidence, if I need 100% confidence, that means that it should take the complete whole range of r, because obviously there are some errors which will come in the calculations of r. And if I want 100% confidence on my estimation of r, that means that the confidence interval in that case should be between -1 and r, because 1, because r value will lie between -1 and 1. But if I want a small confidence, then my estimation will be very close to the actual value of r. So over here we can see that the r value is -0.16, and the confidence interval based on 10% confidence, my upper and lower limits, confidence interval limits, are very close to what I have as the r value. And if I keep on increasing this value to 50, that means I have more confidence. That means my interval will increase. The range of my interval will increase, and that's what we can see. The range has increased. If I go for 95% confidence interval, it will further increase, because I want to ensure, as my confidence, I need 95% confidence. I want to ensure that my R value, estimated R value, should lie in that interval. So more the confidence, I should have larger interval. Then we have sample size indicated. So if I have like whatever number of data points I have between GPA and ID, they are listed over here. Then an important thing over here is the scatter plot. So they will just plot all the different data points between the two variables. So GPA and ID, the variables are the data points are shown, and similarly the GPA and HSM, ID and HSM. And we can also display whatever we have seen earlier in descriptive statistic, the distribution of each variable. So GPA varies with different values like this. The density varies with different variables like this, different points like this, and the HSM varies with different values like this. Then we can also show the statistics. So whatever we have in this table above, the same has been incorporated over here, and I can change the confidence interval as per my need. So the confidence interval has been shown over here with the blue lines over here, and the prediction interval will also be shown, and I can change the confidence value or the prediction value. So this dotted line is over here, which shows the prediction interval of 95% data points. I can also plot a heat map, which is another representation of my R values. So higher the values of R, I have more stronger relationship. That's the thing. Negative and positive doesn't matter in that case. And that's all we have. So let's go and make some discussions or points of what we have studied till now. So we have seen the different values of correlation coefficient and positive, negative, and no correlation. And some important points we should take a note of are, we have not defined or we cannot conclude on how strong a weak relation is, or based on the correlation coefficient value. One may say that 0.7 is a very strong correlation coefficient. Some other may say that 0.8 is also not so strong. So it depends on how we are going to define the intervals of strong, weak, very strong, not so strong, weak, etc. Varies with person to person, the type of area they are working in. So that's not a point of discussion. Then an important thing is, since we are working with data and we are not studying the fundamentals of what the background of the data set is, Hence we should call it as a correlation and not a causal relationship, because we do not have theoretical background. If we have known that this parameter A is going to have some causal relationship on parameter B, if we have that theoretical background, then only we can comment on the causal relationship. And another point is, we have no information about cause effect relationship, so we cannot declare that some variable which we had earlier, like GPA, is the driving variable and ID is the indirect variable, or which is the dependent variable, or ID is the independent variable, or GPA is going to be dependent on ID. So we cannot say that which is the driving variable, which is the dependent variable. So that's the main point. We'll end over here. Thank you.